Good morning, everyone. I'm Ann Scarborough, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees here at South Valley UU Society. My pronouns are she and her. Come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes. You are welcome here. No matter what you have experienced in the past, no matter what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time or some of the time or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. You are welcome here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society.
Welcome everyone to our Music Ministry Sunday. I'm so excited for this morning. Whereas we had originally planned a program of primarily choral music to celebrate all the hard work of our choir, current circumstances have interceded and we have had to adapt. I'm very pleased that music has continued to be an integral part of our worship services online. And I want to express gratitude to everyone who has risen to the challenge of making their musical contributions in this new way. As musicians, it puts us in a difficult position because we are ultimately somewhat compromised in terms of the control we have over what you are hearing. We're accustomed to practicing and rehearsing so as to have the most control over the end product as possible. But now our music must take a very different journey before it reaches your ears, through microphones, audio interfaces, and the internet before being recreated on whatever speakers you're listening on. But this is not a service about what we don't have, it's a service about what we do have. And rather than lamenting the limitations of the technology we are using, I'd like to celebrate the response this community has had to the virus. Thanks in no small part to Karen's leadership, we have continued to worship together without interruption. And thanks to our staff and numerous volunteers, we have done it with great success, in my opinion. So without further ado, in the spirit of community and celebration, let us begin. Our opening hymn will be number 288, All Our Architects. And I'll just get ready to turn back now. Okay, here we go.
All our architects of fate, working in these walls of time, some with massive deeds and great, some with ornaments of rhyme. For the structure that we raise, time is with materials filled. Our todays and yesterdays are the blocks with which we build. Build today then strong and sure, with a firm and ample base, and ascending and secure, shall tomorrow find its place.
Reverend Karen is going to light our chalice behind her, and she will put the chalice lighting words in the chat box. If you have a small candle or chalice of your own, we welcome you to light it with us. Zach is going to unmute everyone. Feel free to stand as we all say our chalice lighting words together. We light this chalice for the one of truth,
the light of
truth, and the energy of action.
Feelings are on.
Pronouns I use are he, his, and him. I would like to welcome you this morning to South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. We are an intentionally diverse religious community. All are welcome here. We would like to extend an especially warm welcome to those of you who are visiting us for the first time. We're so glad you're here. We would love to get to know you. Our greeter is going to drop our connection card into the chat box for any of our newcomers so you can be connected to our community. This is a caring, supportive community. During this time of physical distancing, we are working to be creative in how we take care of each other. A group of members are actively reaching out to folks in our community and will continue to do so while we are in this pandemic. The pastoral care card has been put on our website and is in the link that Reverend Karen is going to put in the chat box. All of our online services are intergenerational. Our RE gatherings are taking place at a separate time. To find out more about our religious exploration classes, review the Happenings newsletter and contact Rebecca Britt, the Director of Religious Exploration, at her email address that Reverend Karen is going to put in the chat box. To keep updated on activities that are part of the South Valley community, we encourage you to use the Google Calendar on the South Valley website. If you would like to host a group gathering, please use the reservation form on the website. Although we are physically separate, we are still connected. After today's service, there will be a short break, and then we will have our virtual potluck. We will be staying in the same Zoom room. Please take this time to say hello to each other in the chat box. Please say where you are joining us from. You will all be unmuted.
Hey everybody! Hello!
Hi, everybody. Hi, David, as everybody else who's joined recently.
Okay, I think it's over to me. Well, I'm so happy to be joining you from my father's beautiful living room and taking advantage of his beautiful piano. Let's have a few words about music for you this morning in snippets. So first off, I could describe the aesthetic value of music to you and how I feel about it personally, but that's not really what I want to talk about. I don't think that that would bring any new ideas to the table or challenging any of your existing views. But today I do want to share some personal anecdotes, and I hope that they'll eventually help me to get to the point, which is this: music is more than an art form. It's more than entertainment or a product. It's more than a collection of genres, some of which you like and some of which you don't. Music is heritage. It connects us through time to ages past and through space to regions near and far. It's a continuous tapestry woven by countless voices, from the most superficial to the most profound, a record of our hopes and dreams as well as our fears and nightmares. But music does more than connect us to the past. It also paves a way for the future. Music can be a vehicle for change, whether by the content of its harmony or the message expressed by the lyrics, the history of music is characterized by its progressive nature. A successful pairing of lyrics to a tune makes the outcome that much more memorable and powerful. Music has helped us to stick it to the man, to borrow a phrase I'm probably too young to use, and to challenge the status quo. But perhaps most important, however, is what music does for us in the present. There's something magical that happens when everyone in attendance devotes their attention to experiencing the music that has been prepared for them. To me, the music that we experience together is one of my most cherished forms of shared experience. Better still, however, is when we make it together. And while we are admittedly limited in that regard for the time being, we're still able to see and hear each other and take part in this music. There are ties between us that transcend physical or even digital connection. And today, I wish to celebrate those ties. Lisi and I will now sing a few folk songs. So over to you, Lisi.
I got a house in Baltimore. Oh, Liza Jane. Silver door plate on my door. Oh, Eliza Jane. I got a house in Baltimore. Oh, Liza Jane. The street cut runs right by my door. Oh, Eliza Jane. Oh, Eliza, Eliza Jane. Oh, Eliza, Eliza Jane. Oh, Eliza, Eliza Jane. Oh, Eliza, Eliza Jane. Come, my love, and be with me. Oh, Eliza Jane. And I'll take good care of thee. Oh, Eliza Jane. Oh, Eliza, 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 oh, Eliza, oh, Eliza Jane. Eliza Jane. Eliza Jane.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow, and I'll be in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But when ye come and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear those soft dew tread above me, and on my grave will warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you
Thank you, Lacey. That was beautiful and one of my very favorite songs of all time. To everyone who's applauding, I just want to express gratitude, as it can feel kind of strange to just be in a room by yourself playing the music, and to turn your head and to see that on the screen is really encouraging. So I appreciate that. And I thank you. One of my greatest mentors used to say that choir is like a microcosm of a successful society. The ideal being something like this: people of all different colors and creeds coming together towards the common goal. Somehow music provides us a medium for self-expression, even when we're performing someone else's music. In a choral setting, it's like the music becomes a round table where everyone is allowed to contribute. Himself, my mentor, a man of compromised faith, he taught me how to contribute the same amount of my musical soul towards sacred works that I did to secular works. I'm not talking about whether I liked the music or not. Any seasoned choral musician is used to putting their heart into music that they aren't crazy about. It just comes with the territory. He helped me to pile all music into one category. Well, if I'm honest, it was more like two categories: good music and bad music. But the point is, he put it in terms we could all understand. We are musicians and we have a job to do. To be perfectly clear, he made no effort to disparage people of faith or their way of living. He masterfully made these differences a non-issue and turned our focus to the task at hand. I've used this mindset in order to make music alongside people I enjoy and alongside people I don't. And in the latter case, I have repeatedly been surprised to find how the experience softens contentions and humanizes someone whom I may have otherwise been content to disregard as an enemy. These are lessons that I've learned from choir and have been able to apply to other aspects of my life. A choir is an organization that values cooperation over an individual gain, a possible counterbalance to our capitalistic meritocracy. And while choir may not be for everyone, I don't know of any other activity that cuts right to the point in this way. Most choirs are formed from individuals who walk willingly into rehearsal. But I'm curious what would happen if we put people who considered themselves in explicit opposition in some way in a room together and didn't let them out until they formed an adequate choir of some kind. I'll cut to the chase and suggest my dangerous idea. We live in a country whose government is too often paralyzed by partisan disagreements. What might happen if every time Congress convened, they took 30 minutes to begin proceedings by mixing everyone evenly across the aisle and singing together? The Senate is already set up so that they could all see the conductor from wherever they sit. Who knows, maybe then they would be able to see compromise as success rather than as defeat. I'd like to invite Sarah Nicholson, to get us up and out of our chairs, perhaps with the first installment of Time for All Ages.
Hi guys, time for all ages. When I used to love to sing from the time I was really little, and my mom taught me some fun songs when I was little. Here's a picture I found of my mom and me and my daughter. My mom's in the middle. So the first one we're going to do is called I'm a Little Teapot. So in case you don't know what a teapot is, here's an old one that I have sitting on a shelf in my kitchen. Notice how our teapot has a handle. We're going to make a handle out of one of our arms, and then it has a spout, and we're going to make a spout out of our other arm. And then the way a teapot works is it heats up water really fast, and when the water is hot, the steam creates pressure that makes the teapot make a sound like a whistle. So I'm going to put the words in our chat box. So the words, and I'll just go through it with you once, and let's see if I can arrange this so you can see me. So we've got our handle. So everybody make a handle for me. And then you've got your spout. Okay, I'll sing through it once, and then you can join me the second time around. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Tip me over and pour me out. All right, so if you're not already standing and doing this with me, I invite you to do that so we can go through this again. Here we go. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Tip me over and pour me out. Good job, I'll be back later.
Okay. So this piece is for spring. It's one of my favorites. I've played it at South Valley before. It's called Le Rappel des Oiseaux, which means the call of the birds. It's perfect for spring.
This is Syrinx by Debussy, and this is one of the pieces that if you learn the flute, you will. This is Syrinx by Debussy, and this is one of the pieces that if you learn the flute, you will learn this piece. So I thought that I would share it today.
Syrinx refers to a nymph who was changed into reeds, and she was being pursued by Pan, and Pan cut the reeds and made a panpipe. This piece is called Le Petit Berger, which means the little shepherd. Oh, am I off? Oh no, I'm on. Okay, this piece is called the Little Shepherd, and you can hear the little shepherd play his little panpipe and then do a little dance in between alternately.
Okay, it is time for our South Valley story. Each week we have somebody come and tell their story. And Rickland Novus is now going to share his story.
Thank you. Well, I was kind of puzzled when Cindy asked me if I'd be willing to do a South Valley story, because I'm not a member here. And she said, no, people would love it. So I'll be really short and sweet. The reason I'm here is because I'm on the payroll. No. No, it's much more than just a job. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the steps in between how I got here, and with particular emphasis on playing with churches. And I'll try and be brief. I've just got it on 2 pages, so it shouldn't take more than 15 minutes. Anyway, I timed it, it should be like 5. I was born in North Idaho, very far northern Idaho in Spirit Lake, and then I grew up in Coeur d'Alene. I was really lucky because of all the mountains and lakes, and us kids could just ride our bikes down to the beach every day in the summer. I started playing the piano about the age of 5, and then when I was about 13, I started playing organ at my church, which was a little church in Coeur d'Alene, St. Luke's Episcopal Church. I was also a member of the boy choir and an acolyte, and led the church youth group for a while until I call it evolved. My curiosity led me to begin an exploration. After leaving Coeur d'Alene, I began a very ecumenical path of playing and choir directing in various denominations: Methodists, Baptist, Catholics, synagogues. My guru teacher from the time I was in high school also taught at a nearby college, Whitworth College in Spokane. So I went and studied with her in Spokane. And while in Spokane, I played for the Unitarian Church in Spokane. Rudy Gilbert was the minister. I moved on to the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, and while there I played for a little Presbyterian church down in the Sunset District, just a couple blocks from the ocean, at the end of the N Judah line, if you're familiar with San Francisco. Then I got a bunch of money from the University of California in Berkeley, and the only stipulation was that I had to study somewhere else of America. So I went to Paris. And I got back from Paris, and I was pretty much sick of playing the piano. I'd been doing it my whole life. I had friends in the carnival business, and so I decided I'd go out one summer. They had a big route all over the country, and work the carnival business with them for about that summer. I got hooked, and so for the next 2.5 years, I worked on midways with my games all over America, and that was working a week, picking up, moving, working a week, etc. I made so much money on the carnival, I was able to come winter wherever I wanted. One summer, one winter, a friend of mine and I wintered on the island of Ibiza off the coast of Spain. That was back when it was a pirate island, not a shishi island like it is now. I came one winter to spend with my sister who lived here in Salt Lake City. I wanted to visit her. When I got here, I realized that culture, art was being supported with a tiny little populace, and I really smelled fertile ground. And that spring, I didn't go back to Tampa to winter quarters. I even left a storehouse full of stuffed animals down there, and I sort of passively got off the road. I got a job immediately at a big vinyl store downtown, Odyssey Records, and that's how I called Gene Pack, who I realized was the voice of classical music in the Valley, at KUER, and offered him every month free new releases in exchange for me coming on the radio to talk about them with him, like Roger Ebert or whatever. And that evolved into a full-time job. And eventually I started playing at All Saints Episcopal Church down on Foothill. And I've got to tell you that little red hanger Cleaners that's across the street from All Saints, that used to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I've always found it so ironic to be coming to church at South Valley and smelling Kentucky Fried Chicken. I played for many years at the First Unitarian Church. I go all the way back to the Dick Henry days and then all through Tom Goldsmith days. I was in the symphony for years and years, principal keyboardist for over 26 years, same as the radio. Then one day I dropped everything and I went on the road I was invited to go on the road with the national tour of Phantom of the Opera. So I was out for 2 solid years. I came back every 2 cities, which was about every 2.5 months. So just for 24 hours, so I could visit the cats. While I was, after I kind of settled down after the road, I met Mary Lou Prince. She had a small amateur choir that she wanted me to play for. We later played for a little aging choir down at Rivers Bend Senior Center as an initiative of Engage Utah. And then she invited me to play at South Valley. So that brings me to now. And like I said, why I'm here is not about money, though that's very much appreciated, but it's because I just love making music with other people, and hopefully we'll all get the chance to do that when this crisis passes. I love playing with the choir at South Valley. I love playing with the soloists from South Valley, and I love playing hymns. I've done it all my life. But basically I'm here because of you. And this is where it really gets real. You are generous and kind and open and curious, interesting people and interested people. And so even though I'm not a member of South Valley, I thank you deeply for allowing me to be a member of your community. Thank you.
All right, our next song for our Time for All Ages is The Eensy Weensy Spider. I don't know how many of you have been outside and spring is coming and there's more bugs and flowers everywhere. So the first thing I want you to show you is how I do my actions for Eensy Weensy Spider. This is something my mom taught me and it makes it really fun. So what I do is I take my middle finger and I touch my thumb to my middle finger. And then I touch my other thumb to my other middle finger, and then I move those two upward. And this is my little spider crawling up the water spout. If you can't do it, don't feel bad. You can do your own thing, whatever you want to do. Here, I'll just show you one more time. So you take your middle finger on one hand, and it meets your thumb on the other hand. And then your middle finger on the other hand with your thumb on the first hand. And then you just alternate back and forth across. Okay. Like I said, don't feel bad if you can't do it. Let's go ahead and sing Eensy Weensy Spider. Here we go. The eensy weensy spider crawled up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the eensy weensy spider went up the spout again. Good job, guys. See you again in a bit.
Okay, it's time for our offering. It is our practice at South Valley to share our Sunday worship offerings with a charitable organization that aligns with our principles and values. For March and April, we have selected Breathe Utah, a local organization that works to improve the air we breathe through education, collaboration, and policy. They increase awareness for youth and adults that count on Givelify. This allows South Valley to continue receiving funds during this pandemic. You are invited to give using the link that Reverend Karen is going to put in the chat box, or you can go to your phone and download the app. It's called Givelify, like give and then L-I-F-Y. Using this app will help South Valley tremendously. I don't know if he's going to appreciate that, but you could probably do that. Reverend Karen is going to put our offering words in the chat box. Let's read the offering. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gift.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do a tune called Moon Shadow by Yusuf Islam. Used to be Cat Stevens. I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, leaping, hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. And if I ever lose my hands, lose my plow and lose my land, and if I ever lose my hands, I won't have to work no more. And if I ever lose my eyes, my colors all run dry. And if I ever lose my eyes, I won't have to cry no more. I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, leaping, hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. And if I ever lose my legs, I won't moan and I won't beg. And if I ever lose my legs away, I won't have to walk no more. And if I ever lose my mouth, all my teeth north and south, and if I ever lose my mouth away, I won't have to talk. Did it take long to find me? I asked the faithful eye. Did it take long to find me? Are you gonna stay the night? Oh, I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, leaping, hopping on a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to sing Fly Away Home, which is something we've sung as a choir before. It's one of my favorites. And John created my accompaniment and also with his voice in the background. I'll ride with the horses, I'll swim through the sea, I'll climb to the mountain tops, won't you come follow me? I'll take time to notice all that I see, and after I've come so far, know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away home. Well, life is a vision, that's how it should be. The world's a canvas, and the choices are free. At the end of the journey, when all is complete, they'll all wonder where I've gone, but you know where I'll be. I'll fly away home. I'll fly away home. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
dream lasts forever. For all that we know, the roads come together, and that's where we'll go. We'll fly away home. We'll fly away home.
All right, I figured I'd do 2 Cat Stevens tunes. Why not? This one was called Peace Train. Now I've been happily led, thinking about the good things to come, and I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, I've been smilingly led, dreaming about the world as one, and I believe it could be someday it's going to come. 'Cause out on the edge of darkness there rides a peace train. Peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Now I've been happily led, thinking about the good things to come, and I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, peace train sounding louder, glide on the peace train. E-I-E-E-I, glide on the peace train. Oh, peace train, holy roller, everyone jump upon the peace train. E-I-E-I-E-I, come on the peace train. Now get your bags together, go bring your good friends too, 'cause it's getting nearer, it soon will be with you. Oh, come and join the living, it's not so far from you, and it's getting nearer, soon it will all be true. Oh, peace train sounding louder, glide on the peace train. E-I-E-E-I, glide on the peace train, come on the peace train. Now I've been crying lately, thinking about the world as it is. Why must we go on hating? Why can't we live in bliss? 'Cause out on the edge of darkness there rides a peace train. A peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Oh, peace train sounding louder, glide on the peace train. E-I-E-E-I, glide on the peace train. Oh, peace train, holy roller, everyone jump upon the peace train. E-I-E-E-I, come on the peace train. Yes, it's a peace train. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Renshaw. My pronouns are she and hers, and I'm going to make an announcement on behalf of the Ministerial Search Committee. I have exciting news to share with you this morning. After many months of diligent work, the Ministerial Search Committee has found a minister that we are recommending to the congregation as our candidate for settled ministry. Throughout our process, we hoped we would find someone we would fall in love with, and I'm thrilled to say that all 7 of us on the committee agree that we did indeed find that person. On Thursday, we learned that this minister also fell in love with us and with our church community, and this mutual connection that we're already feeling is truly a reason to celebrate. And we need reasons to celebrate right now, right? So I'm going to ask Zach to unmute us, and let's take a moment to celebrate together out loud on Zoom.
It's all worthwhile. Thank you. This is amazing.
Yay, oh my God.
News.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Job well done. Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Jeez, what an effort.
How exciting.
So at this time, I'm not able to give you any more information about our candidate because we're still finalizing the details. We hope to be able to share much more by next Sunday so that we can fully bring all of you in on the excitement. So, what are the next steps? We are still hosting a candidate week, but since it can't be conducted in our building or in person, we are extending it by a few days to make sure that everybody has as many opportunities as possible to connect. Mark your calendars and look for opportunities coming soon to participate by Zoom from April 22nd through May 3rd. So we've added a few days to the front end. That extended week will include 2 Sunday morning services led by our candidate, as well as a variety of small group gatherings where you'll be able to get to know our candidate. I'd like to ask for your support right now in the following 4 specific ways. So number 1, let me or anyone on the Ministerial Search Committee know which of our members will need some technology assistance to participate. And I'm going to paste into the chat box our email address where you can email the whole group at once. I'll also send out something on Facebook and by listserv with all of the things that I'm saying right now and all of our ways that you can get in touch with us. So let us know who needs help. Number 2, plan to participate as much as possible in our candidate week offerings. We need everybody's opinions and everybody to get involved and get connected as much as possible. Number 3, mark your calendar if you haven't already and plan to attend the Zoom meeting after church on May the 3rd, where we will be voting to call our candidate as our next settled minister. This is a huge moment and we want as many people as possible to participate. And finally, if you haven't pledged yet or considered raising your pledge to help with the awesome matching grant that one of our members put forward, please do so. We need your support right now more than ever, especially in this strange and difficult time. We believe South Valley is essential, and we believe we can face our challenges better with the right settled minister. We are proud to recommend this candidate to boldly meet our future. Thank you all, and woohoo!
Okay, I think John wanted me to skip head, shoulders, knees, and toes just for time, right? Or should we do it?
Yeah, we're gonna keep going on with the music. Sorry about that, Sarah. Yeah, everyone, I know we're going a little bit over time, but thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you.
Yep.
No, we're not. We're up next.
So, all right. So in the interests and such of time, can you hear us? Nodding, yes, okay, good, thank you. Again, in the interest of time, we're gonna drop the guitar solo thing and go straight to the piece Mary and I are doing tomorrow. Or, sorry, together, not tomorrow. Yeah, whatever. This is called Moments to Live By. It's by a fellow from Vermont named Gregory Norbit. It was written in the 70s, and it's quite appropriate for the times we're living in right now.
hands, sharing and caring, the heart of our person, loving our life in the mystery beyond all our dreams. Would you but ask, can it be? What cannot tell? Come and see. The center comes clear. All that we are and want to be. Bold as the mountains, ring of the message. Life is for living each moment, every day. Clouds of unknowing can steal our vision if we keep present the hopes we have so deeply shared. Would you but ask, can it be? What cannot fail? Come and see. The center comes clear. All that we are and want to be. Moments to live by when we are open. Oh, the great wonder of life in each other's hands, of life in each other's hands.
All right, Linda, we're ready for
Over to you, Linda.
Okay, do you hear me or see me?
Yes.
Great. I'd like both. Your opening statements about music connecting the past with the present fit so well with the piece I've selected. It was written by J.S. Bach in the early 1700s, early to middle, and the second half of this arrangement is a modern day reharmonization by Fred Hirsch. So it's connecting the past with the present.
Okay. Well, I'd take a step back and say music at its most fundamental is sound in time. It's an art form that is essentially intangible, which I think is why it can seem almost magical at times. That's Ash, and maybe she'll come and you'll all get to meet her, which I admit is kind of my favorite thing about all of this, is getting to meet everybody's pets. Ash! Okay, she was just stolen away by anyone. Coming back, one of my favorite parts about going to a museum is seeing famous or ancient artworks, and it's the immediacy of the experience. Here I stand at nearly the same distance from a painting or sculpture that the artists themselves created. When my imagination gets the best of me, I feel a striking feeling of connections over centuries, as if I was transported to Italy and found myself in Leonardo da Vinci's presence as he labored over the Mona Lisa for years, or witnessed Michelangelo's backbreaking painting of this ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. But music has no tangible canvas unless you count manuscripts, but this is something like comparing the blueprints of a house to the house itself. Instead, we as musicians paint our expressions on the canvas of the minds of those listening. Forget imagining myself bearing witness to the creation of a work of art. In these moments, we are actively creating the work itself as prescribed by the artists who have gone before us. It can be exhilarating and even overwhelming. It can also be calming and comforting. I know despite what we've been able to accomplish today, I am feeling the loss over what we had originally planned. To all of our wonderful choir members, I miss seeing you twice a week. And I recognize that after a few weeks of isolation, we are all experiencing the loss of a morning that was essentially meant to feature you. I recently had the opportunity to travel to Dallas, Texas, where I participated in a performance tour alongside my students from the Madeline Choir School. At the end of the tour, the adult singers and directors were enjoying each other's company, when one man of very devout faith made a rather profound comment that stood out to me. I'll attempt to do it justice as I paraphrase. On the subject of folks' reaction to music or other forms of art or anything else that lifts them up, he said, "I think that's why people weep when they experience beauty. It's the closest we get to coming in contact with the divine, and it makes us painfully aware of the vast distance that separates us from it." I don't share this man's faith, so I had to employ a practice that I believe is familiar to you all. We could call it translation, or reading the silver lining, or reading between the lines. This too, by the way, is a skill I've learned from singing in choir. But while I disagreed with the verbiage he used, I found the content of what he was saying to be unexpectedly profound relative to the other topics of conversation. Rather than focusing on my disagreement with him, I sought out the common ground. Ultimately, though, I admit I do disagree with him. I do not believe that we weep because we are made more acutely aware of how we are in some way lacking. I think music has a way of circumventing our emotional defenses, and when it does, we experience our emotions in spite of ourselves. When music takes us to that intimate place, what we encounter is intensely personal. I cannot really hope to describe what it does for someone else or why they may be led to tears, but I think for me, I weep because the music accesses the tenderness inside of me. And in that moment, there is an internal dialogue wherein I recognize the beauty of the music, and somehow feel that by that recognition, the same beauty exists in me. Our closing hymn will be number 10, as long as I haven't left anything out, 1052, The Oneness of Everything.
As always, I invite you to join along as you prefer.
Far beyond the grasp of hands, or light to meet the eye, past the riches of the mind. There find find the key to nature's harmony in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all who join in love expanding, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings, in the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees who stir before the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of lives long past that touch our own are written in the earth ever giving, and now to maintain the harmony gives to us all lives worth living. Of the oneness of everything.
Reverend Karen is going to put the chalice extinguishing words in the chat box. You are invited to stand and say our chalice extinguishing words together. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of community, the light of truth, or the energy of action. We hold each other in our hearts until we meet again.
Let the music we have heard today ring on in the canvas of our collective minds, and let us remember the ties between us that transcends the limitations imposed by current circumstances. Go in peace.
And now Zach will end the recording. Thank you all